Hello everyone, my name is K. Srikanth. I am working as assistant professor in Mlritm. Today I am discussing about the subject Rdbms. What is Rdbms? Today we are discussing the topics in that introduction to Rdbms and historical perspective. Course objectives of the Rdbms. Understanding the fundamentals of Rdbms and explain database concepts, architecture, data models, and advantages of the database system over traditional file systems. Okay. Next is what design relational database by applying entity relationships, modeling, normalization techniques, and relation schema designed to minimize redundancy and maintain data integrity. Next, applying advanced SQL concepts such as joins, queries, views, index, stored procedures, functions, triggers, and cursors to solve real-world database problem efficiently. These are the course objectives for the RDBMS. Next, coming to the course outcomes. What are the outcomes we are getting from the students? Gain knowledge of fundamentals of DBMS database designs, understanding relational data models, relational algebra and calculus, masters the basic of SQL for retrieval and management of data, analyze database schema, identifying anomalies due to the redundancy and apply normalization techniques. Okay, these are the outcomes we are getting from the students of from the RDBMS subject. Next, coming to the unit 1, what are the topics we are covering in the unit 1 means database system, a historical perspective, file system versus a DBMS, relational model, and levels of abstraction in a DBMS, data independency, structure of DBMS. Next, introduction to the database system, database design, database design and ER diagrams, entities, attributes, and entity sets, relationship set and relationship sets, additional features of the ER model, conceptual design with ER models. Okay. Next, let's discuss the first unit. Let's discuss the first unit. What is RDBMS? Mainly introduction of the RDBMS. What is RDBMS means? RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management System. Relational Database Management System. See, a database is organized collection of data stored in the computer system and usually controlled by the database management system. See, a database is an organized collection of the data stored in the computer system and usually controlled by the DBMS. It is an program that allows us to create, delete, update a relational database. First of all, what we have to know means relation. What is the relation means? Relation. Relation means nothing but here table. Table means we are organizing our data in the form of tables. What is the table means? Table means nothing but it is having rows and columns. Okay. Here see, relational database is organized. Organized means we are organizing into the tables and tables. It is called as a relational. Okay. In a computer. See, next, going to the next. See, okay. What is a data? First of all, we have to know what is data. We know data is nothing but a information. Okay, it is a piece of information. Data can exist in various forms. For example, in number format, in text format, in audio format, in video format. This all comes under data. Okay. See, where data is storing, we are See, where we are storing the data? We are storing the data in database. Okay, memory. See, data is a raw information and it does not give correct meaning. See, what means data cannot be give the correct information. While we process the data, becomes the information and it gives the correct meaning. See, when we process or organize the data, then only it will give the correct meaning of the data. Okay, correct meaning of the data. Yes, what is database? What is database means? Database means nothing but the collection of the data. See, collection of the data. See, this is called some drum. We are collecting some data into this. See, collection, this is called database. We are collecting some data. Some, for example, data means, example, let's take one student. We have student name, student ID, comma, student name, student department. Student information, complete information is called as a data. So this type of data, for example, one more example is employee. Let's take employee ID, EID, name, as well as department. Let's take these two tables are collecting from our side and it is stored in the database. We are storing the data in the database. Storing data in database. Okay, this is called database. Okay, next, see, what is a database? DBMS means, what is DBMS means? Database Management System. See, it is a software which is used to manage the database in a, it's called as a DBMS. What we are doing here, managing the data, where some vendors are going to managing the data. For example, some vendors are, who are there? MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft Access, IBM, DB2. These vendors are going to managing the database management system, database. Next, a historical perspective means, here, history of the DBMS, Rdbms, when it is started and from where it is started. Okay, yes, see, from earliest days of a computer, storing and manipulating data have been a major application focus. Mainly in earlier days they are trying to store the data in some computers, but there is no computers in those days. In those days they are used as a records, manually entering into the records, and after that the first generation purpose DBMS called integrated data storage. In the first time they stored the data by using the integrated data storage. IDS was designed by the Charles Benchman in the early of 1960s. When it is started means in 1960s, Charles Benchman designed IDS, means for the purpose of storing the data. Charles Benchman introduced IDS, integrated data storage. Okay, and yes, it formed by the basis for the network data model. Okay, next, after that, in the late 1960s, IBM entered into the data DBMS, means IBMS developed information Management System, IMS. It is called as the IBM developed Information Development System. In 1960s only, IBM also started researching on a DBMS. In this time, they are stored the data like in the form of IMS. It is called Information Management System. Okay, this formed the basis for the alternative data representation framework called the hierarchical data model. Okay, let's go to the another. See, in this 1970, Edgar Franklin Code proposed a new data representation framework called as a relational data model. See, Edgar, when in 1970s, Edgar F code means here Edgar Frank Code proposed a new data representation framework called as a relational data model. He introduced in the 1970s about the relational data model. Relational data model means organizing the data into the form of tables. Okay. In a relational data model, data is stored in the form of tables containing rows and columns. This becomes a very famous database model. See, SQL, the SQL structured query language is stand for the query language used to access the relational database. Here, basically, SQL is mainly used for the query languages, structured query languages. It is to use it for the retrieving data and updating data. These all comes under the structured query language. Structured query language. Okay, structured query language. See, in mid-90s, DBMS has entered the internet age. All the database vendors are added the features to their DBMS aimed to make it more suitable for deployment over the internet. See, in 90s, every vendors are taking the DBMS have entered and age. All the DBMS vendors added their features to their DBMS aimed. Means every vendor is using the SQL queries, as well as there is same vendors using the same queries for um, development of the DBMS, okay, database management systems. Okay, today the field is being driven by the existing vision such as streaming data, YouTube, Vimeo, etc. Okay, as interactive video, flash firemax, multimedia, database, digital libraries, yes, etc. Okay, see, what are the applications we are using? What are the applications we are using here? Which applications are used by the vendors mostly? See, database applications. What are the database applications are there we are having? Means we are having so many database applications. For example, let's take some example. Enterprise enterprise informations. Enterprise informations. For example, sales, we have customers, products, purchase. Yes, again accounts also we are having payments, receipts, account balance, assets. Okay, human resource, employee records, salaries, tax deductions, manufacturing, production, inventory, orders, supply chains. Okay, outline details, order tracking, customize recommendation. See, in every report we are getting some data, products, purchase, customer. What we need, cus- customer means customer means here we want customer name, see name, customer ID, customer product. See, like that we are getting some data from the every table. This is like we treat as a entity. Okay, entity as a customer. Okay, okay, like this. Again we go to the payments. Accounts means we are getting some payments accounts. In every account there should be having some payments as well as a receipt, account balance, assets. See, these all comes under the database. Okay. Again, human resource means employee record. Employee records, what will be there in the employee records? There should be employee records will having some employee ID, EID, e-name. Yes, like this: employee ID, employee name, employee department, e-department. Okay, this all comes under the database. These are the applications using the database for every application. See, coming to the banking and financial. Banking, in what type of information is running in the banking side means all transactions, mainly transactions means, like, see, credit card transaction, debit card transaction, as well as finance storing information about the holds and sales. See, here debit card, credit card, and nowadays we are using UPI payments, and these all transactions comes under the generation of the monthly statements. It is generating the monthly statements. Universities, what are the universities will do? First of all, they need the registrations data. Okay, registrations data. After that, they should have to grades of the each student. Okay, this data comes under the university applications. Okay, as well as we are also having the organization data also in same like that only, like registrations, employee informations. Okay, next is the airlines and trains. Okay, travels. There should be having the first reservations data means how they are going to reservations for the ticket booking. Next, again, what the data we are required here? Here we are showing for the schedule, when the allotment of the schedule should be there in for the flights or a trains. Okay, next, what the data should be there in a telecommunication, keeping the records of calls made. See, keeping the records of the call made. Every time they are keeping the records of the calls made. Okay, generating the monthly bills. See, every call there should be generating some amount, so for that they are showing in the monthly paid bills. Okay, thank you for the class today.